Something must have quaffed might, because might is ID'd. Guess I didn't notice it. Nope. All sorts of rations. Our food situation is looking just great. That's good. It's a thing that can vary a little bit from game to game, and it doesn't really change the overall outcome. What can matter is seriously, how good is Steam Breath? Okay. Line you guys up. Hit you with the old Steam Breath. Let's see what's coming. Boom, fireball. Not too much else going to be left on this level. Wow, he actually didn't get damage. Throw Flame though. Nice thing about Throw Flame when you finally do get the spell power up there is that it does pretty decent damage, and it doesn't raise a ruckus like Fireball does. Fireball obviously does better damage, but there we go. There's our Evo and some Invo. Want to get Bolt of Fire going eventually. We have fairly good spell power right now. I'd also love to put on this shield if I could, but that's a lot of skill to invest. It's 15, it's like 14 or so. I do have Wizardry, so I don't have to go that crazy. But we might go ahead and stick with some more. Let's go ahead and just get 10 fighting, and then we'll think about maybe getting some dodging going. See if there's any good weapons. There is that Whip of Elec. This Hand Axe, though, of Elec is as good. I just don't really want to. Don't necessarily want to train up axes. But this is the best. There is a War Axe of Flaming. That's kind of nice. Yeah, the Umbra is starting to get up there. I haven't really used Shadow Step as of yet. I think the fail rate is good. I'll need to hit up more Invo once Shadow Form becomes actually available. Is there any ident? No. Is going to be our go-to. We can use man, the Rings of Strength. We can use Fireball like maybe something like a Hydra. Just depends on the situation. I do have a lot of HP. I can sort of sticky a Hydra and walk back, but I'm not going to be able to eat too many turns of that, even as my EV starts to climb up a bit. There's our Buckler. I'm sure we're going to be. I cannot believe that Throw Flame failed that many times to do something about that. Let's just take a quick aside and get Also, take a look at what is our fail rate. So fireball is still accessible. Yeah, that's good. Ooh, we can do the powerful fireball tree. Oh, you know, you would. That's so annoying. Whatever. I'll just do it this way. All these plants. Oh, that's not so hot. Okay, we're gonna have to do something about that. And you. There we go. I don't have RC minus or anything. I just don't have any RC at all. See, I'm already not really needing to bother messing around too much with Conjure Flame, but I will use it. Now we are actually going to ID these skulls. Finally, teleportation. Don't want to waste any. I have so little of it. Wow, this is a Gamma Funk vault. This vault is dates back to Forest Branch. Why not open up with a fireball? Oh. They're both dead. Are you gonna cast Sticky Flame or Sticky, please? What is the fail rate? It's only 2%, but there's probably a eel. So I made this. This is a bear vault. It's a bear cave. It's a really simple vault. There's nothing much to say about it, but there used to be a monster in the Forest Branch called an ancient bear. Grunt made it, and it was just like a beefy bear with like RF. It is very bare bones, Reese's. That was barely a joke. And it was just a big, like, it had more stats, you know, more melee, more HP than like a polar bear. So it was, I don't know what it was equivalent to. It was probably worse than a dragon in terms of melee. But the only thing it had was like RF, and that was it. It was just a mostly thematic monster, and I made a bear cave featuring a few of them. And then that branch got like just, you know, undone or removed, and but I did repurpose this vault for lair. No eel this time. Wow, a shaft. Probably should have no trap. Manual translocations. Hey, that's cool. Will be helpful eventually. Worst in general was hell. It was not a great branch. The layout wasn't fun. It was very samey. Elemental Wellstrings were a problem. It had a lot of monsters. It had Thorn Hunters, which I think barely got nerfed when they got moved over to Swamp. It also had these water-bound, like lesser version of Thorn Hunters that were water enemies, lotus plants, and they would shoot you with, you know, spikes. They weren't really that dangerous. It had the original Water Nymph, which was a really funny monster. The original Water Nymph did not have the water aura nor the stair locking ability, but it had this crazy ability where if it saw you, it could do this unresistible hex where it transported you over to the nearest body of water, however far away that was. And so you could see one of these things and suddenly you're yanked into some totally different place, as if you've gotten teleport and you're in the middle of a lake. You know, it wouldn't drown you or anything. But then, of course, it does have like this water strike attack. I think the original one had that. So it was a really crazy, almost NetHack style of monster. And then, what else? Of course, it had all the different Spriggans. including some Spriggan monsters that got removed. Like it had Spriggan Enchanter monsters that could like sleep you and then stab you. It had another kind of Spriggan monster that I think was more generic. And it had elemental wellsprings, but they were changed, or they went through several iterations. The forest one would just spam water elemental summons like no tomorrow. Like it was seriously a lot. They weren't even when taken solo. They didn't even do all that much damage. I seem to recall. The ones that are in Cocytus are actually somewhat different. And that wasn't even only the second version. They got some changes, I think, while they were in forest, and then they moved to depths at one point. They might have just been straight removed for a while, and then Regret Index brought them back for Cocytus. Hellgate. I've seen people get that recently. I've certainly seen it recently. In my own game, I don't even remember what I got the last time. Oh, did I just see like the Dith Shadow attack? So Dithmenos, I haven't said much about Dith, but he is now mimicking some of my actions, giving me extra damage. That might be why my Steam Breath is so good. I don't know. It's probably just been a while since I haven't had. It's unfortunate. It's almost unfortunate in a way that I got this one, because my first Draconian game ever, and my first Draconian win, was also a Pale Draconian. So I'm not going to get any closer to. Sadly, not going to get any closer to. This is one remarkably resilient. Set up some clouds on. Well, that's actually not going to work out so hot. Okay, you're almost dead. You're also almost dead. Yep. Everyone dies. That's the motto. There's our fighting. Go big on the dodging. Their Steam Breath. This is the Onslaught. No closer to Tiamat, not even a little bit. I think I don't have all that many. Yeah. So I only have 4 Draconian wins, period. I spread out my wins a lot. If you look, they end up being very balanced because of the way I choose my games. Usually people have, like, you know, heavy skewness. Yeah, this will be the first repeat color, I guess. What are there 8 colors or only 7 now? So I guess I don't have that many to go, but I don't play Draconians, you know, in any. Yep, it'll be my first repeat. Pete, and repeat. That's what I'll call him. Oh yeah, that's right, there is a command for it. Yellow, green, purple, and red, so I need 4. Chicken-headed Hydra. I'm gonna exclude this bad boy for now. Five-headed Hydra. Fireball is gonna wake up the other Hydra, but I guess I don't care all that much. Back to my base of operations here. A lot of throw flame. Let's check out what this is. Sure. Wow, I put it. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. Stealth not more useful than. Really wish I had Steam Breath is good. I wish I had let me try this Wand of Clouds. Ooh. I don't appreciate you knocking me back like this necessarily. Probably not going to work out so hot. Around the Rosie. At least I was not incredibly safe in how I handled this. Yeah, well, that's the problem with this is I can try clouds, it's not going to work. I don't want to teleport. If this guy closes in, what I want is to sticky flame him. I have enough for that, so here we go. That'll do it. A little bit close, I guess. They regen relatively fast, so my spell power, of course, is. Huh, I guess it's actually not too bad. There's a low cap on sticky. Looks like we got shoals, guys. More haste. I think yellow is one of the worst. Black is also not very. I would not consider black to be that good. If you just want to win a game, that is. Depends on how you're ranking your power level. Oh boy, look what it is. Look what we found. Probably going to train up some shield skill for that. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles shell is go. Well, well, well. Pog. He's so Decibel is so excited. All he can say is Pog. Shell Scabbard has Petrify. Nope. It's an interesting level. There's the PogChamp. Also, if you like DCSS themed PogChamp emotes, we even have one. Oh man. Panic Commando, what a classic. What a classic. Oh yeah, Bolt of Fire. That would be that'd be a cool spell. Can we learn that? Oh, I've got to buy it. That's right. I don't yet have 780 gold. The haste keeps coming. I'm okay with it. Komodo, Throw Flame, level 2 spells, taking down all of Lair. I love it. I also have a Wand of Flame. Never let it be said that I do not believe in role-playing. Some have criticized my music and said it is not immersive. Some have said that I am not a true streak champion and could never make it to 20 wins. Those naysayers will all be proven wrong eventually. When I make it to the front page of Twitch, on account of my immersion. There's Rufford. Thank you, Jink. I knew you, of all people, would. There's Toad. He's concerned. It's like, why aren't you playing Magic the Gathering? That's a game I can get. I don't believe. That's why I said concerned for Roach. Okay, now we got that's a lot of Nagas. Let's back it up. Oh really? Mr. Spiny Frog. Toad, you see what kind of Draconian this is? This is a Draconian Fire Elementalist, but I hope you appreciate its majestic color that I was able to obtain. I know I will have to run off and tell a certain someone about this run. The greatest DCSS player who's never played DCSS and the biggest all-time fan of Pale Draconians sometimes goes by the mysterious handle of Pale Drac 94. There's the Metroid. Pushing the degen. So I would like to decide on a weapon for this guy at some point. You know, part of the problem is if I get an... There's a couple of like halfway decent... What did we get? We got Shoals. Axes are not my favorite just because broad axe is kind of skill intensive. But this is definitely a character where I'd like to be doing a lot of melee. As these I will get to Bolt of Fire. Might have the biggest DCSS front since Yoki. Wow. Not sure how he'll be able to respond to that accusation. He'll probably have to drown himself in getting some world record in a hot new speed game. He'll have to console himself with that instead. His rep is ruined for DCSS. Look at this, Throw Flame. The power of Throw Flame. The ultimate power of Throw Flame. Strongest spell in all of video games. Combine the power of fire magic and the power of conjurations. You obtain one-shot Dith. So part of the reason why this spell is hitting so well is because of Dith. So this is kind of a cool aspect of it, honestly. It's like Throw Flame is like this really good spell with really good range that's really cheap and really quiet. And it's doing a lot more damage thanks to Dith, so that's kind of nice. Okay, we've got the 12 dodging. I need to make some decisions. More fire magic is not doing me any good until I do something like Bolt of Fire, although it does allow me to cast Fireball, but Fireball is it's a good spell in some situations, and it's going to become more relevant as I start fighting nastier stuff where I'll need the extra damage, but hopefully I'll have just Bolt of Fire. I'm actually going to get... Let's go for 10 spell casting really quick. So I know I am going to cast Bolt of Fire, and that spell is going to take... Spell Hunger is real. Evasion? If it were a lot higher, I would be more interested, but I guess I can take in for now. What is Fireball 7%? Yeah. I don't even have Whiz on, and Positive Energy. Polymorph, not a very useful wand for me at this point because I just I have some other good wands, and I have, of course, spells. I'm looking out more for like hex wands. I do have my Evo trained up. To be perfectly honest, I don't actually have all that much in terms of evocations that truly warrants it, but that's okay. Eventually you'll find some enslavement, paralysis. Double Dragon. Phantom Mirror. This one can be good with not very much Evo against some targets. Gotta be able to run around. Sack of Spiders, man, if you get if you start getting Evo up there like north of 10, it starts getting really good. It makes a bunch of you know, spider branch spiders, and those are not trivial monsters for most monsters in the game to even deal with. Of course, if you go really high in Evo, it does start getting... You know, you can get Ghost Moths, which can basically disable spellcasters entirely, because the Ghost Moth aura versus another monster, what it does is it basically applies anti-magic as if, you know, from the weapon you go, but it just does it all of Los, unless the monster is invisible. So, I remember when Picalus existed and had Supercharge, you could get like three or four Ghost Moths pretty easily. And he would just kind of sit there and just sputter because he would have so much anti-magic stacked. It's not going to be quite that crazy if you only get one. And you need a pretty good Evo to get it, so I wouldn't recommend just training up crazy Evo just for the Sack of Spiders. But once you get in the 10 to 15 neighborhood, you can get some pretty good results from it. And the Box of Beast is also pretty good. Phantom Mirror is really excellent versus some specific monsters. And it retains the status of the monster that you clone, so if something bad goes berserk, you can Phantom Mirror it and you'll have a berserked clone. Yeah, anything high level. Kermit is launching missiles at Timons. Doesn't like getting constricted. Yeah, Cerebuff is... If Antius is another funny one. You'll probably have a big stack of them, so you can just kind of... I'm more talking for the 3-room game, because once you go into Extended, everything starts getting kind of silly in terms of how powerful all the different stuff is. Deflect, nice. So I don't have to go buy... do that Steam Breath. Another trick you can do that work? Does that only work for... Oh, guess that didn't work. For you can shoot. Well, no, that definitely can work. I need to get that right. You can definitely fire it into the clouds at max range, and it will it can hit stuff out of Los, of course. One of the great benefits of any explosion spell, if you can, in some situations, you can, you know, shoot out of Los. Like if I target something here, anything that's on this square is going to get hit. And for full damage, it's not like it's nerfed or anything. So you can have clouds and just fire. Actually, let me do it now. I need to remember what is the max range. Fire, don't stop, ignore range. I guess it won't let you see. Like, that's not quite what I want, although this is actually pretty good right here. This is basically the same thing, so that's another good way to do it. What about Ice Blast? Is Ice Blast? I guess you have to be able to see the... Oh. Sorry. No, that's not what I wanted. I just want to fire previous target, fire straight line beam. Fire don't start. I don't know if you can really do that for this. No, it's retaining the target. I need to figure that one out. What the limitations are there.